Thank you, thank you. And before I say hello, may I conduct a short sociological experiment? Palun tõstke käed. Thank you. You may lower your hands. This experiment was to prove that there are quite a lot of Estonians among the audience, but not too many people. Don't worry, those of you who didn't understand why these people were waving their hands, we shall conduct this concert in English, and indeed we shall have some songs in English as well. So may I now say hello and thank you for coming here, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen. And I was hoping to say the mayor of Washington, D.C., but I'm sure her busy schedule didn't permit her to attend today. But we are very, very grateful to her. As some of you might know, she did a wonderful thing. She proclaimed 24th of February as an official Estonia Day in Washington. Indeed, thank you. This was our Centennial anniversary of our independence. Well, of course, 100 years for a nation, for a country is definitely not much. But as a nation, we can add not one, but 2 zeros to our age. Namely, in the capital of Estonia, in Tallinn, quite next to the building where I live, there were archaeological digs a couple of years ago, and these pushed our existence even further into the past than we thought. Indeed, there where I live and where our nation lives has been a settlement even as long as 10,000 years ago. Where we came from, why we ended up there, this is a topic for debates, and there are many, many interesting theories of which I shall tell you a bit later. But now let's proceed with music. This concert is entitled 100 Years of Estonian Music. When you say Estonian music of the past, you automatically think of one dance, which is our folk dance. It is the polka. And when going through my sheet music for the orchestra, we found a very interesting polka, which sounds extremely Estonian. And when we play it in Estonia, everyone dances. But it's actually an American polka called the Pennsylvania polka. So I'll let you in on this little secret. We shall start with Pennsylvania polka to show you that our musical roots come together in this lovely little dance. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you, thank you. The first time Estonia was actually mentioned, and Estonians were mentioned, dates back to the 1st century AD, when the Roman historian Tacitus was traveling the world and writing down things he actually didn't even see himself. He reportedly never made it as far as to our shores in the Baltics, but he went to Germany and was too timid to actually travel forth, so he went back. But there was a lot of hearsay about these people who live in the north of the river Rhine. And when he published his major work, it's called Germania, meaning all the Germanic countries in the north of today's Germany. And then there in this book, he mentions us for the first time. He says there is a strange little people who call themselves Eesti. This is the same word we still use to this day. He goes on explaining how these people are utter barbarians and cruel and rude. But then he says something really interesting. He says these people collect from their sea small bits of amber, which they use for decoration and adoration, and they call these pieces glass, which is really interesting because this is not a Latin word, and this is the first time ever the word glass has been used. So can it be that this word actually stems from the ancient Estonian language? We do not know, but there are many, many interesting theories, of which a bit later again, because we have another song, and this time when we decided what was the oldest song in our repertoire to fit into the time frame 100 years of Estonian music, we found this dapper little World War I tune, which is called Estonian Maiden, and of course it praises the beauty of Estonian maidens. But to let you in on another little secret, dirty at that one, this is a Latvian song. Yeah. Nobody actually knows that, but some of our Latvian friends might know it. So if you know the Latvian words, go along and sing it with us. But for us, it's Estonian Maiden. 1, 2, 3. Kaunein maailmas, tema naeratus sulatab jää. Eesti neidude päike on silmas, tema sarnast ei kusagil näe. Kui ka rändad sa põõramaad teedel, neid tuhandeid kohtad sa siimas. Eesti neiu on kaunein maailmas, teda armastad sa alati. Maailmas, tema naeratus sulatab jää. Eesti neidude päike on silmas, tema sarnast ei teist küll ei näe. Kui iga rändad sa võõramaad teedel, neid tuhandeid kohtad sa siit. Eesti neiu on kauneim maailmas, teda armastad sa alati. Eesti neiu on kauneim maailmas, teda armastad sa alati. Thank you, thank you. Actually, it's fun to know that Estonian jazz is exactly as old as the Estonian Republic. It was back in 1918 when some of the boys from the one of the Italian schools established the first ever band which called itself a jazz band. It was called the Murphy Band, who knows why. And actually, the man who established it, Kurt Strobel, became a very famous Estonian musician who had many large orchestras later on in the 20s and 30s. And this would be the kind of music they presented as jazz to the audiences about 100 years ago. But of course, we have a lot of new music as well, and some of these songs actually date to this year. And I have composed some of them. Why not let us perform something? Yes, exactly. A tune called "Welcome in the Trap." This one will be in English, so you'll all understand and know into which trap you are about to fall. Relax, don't go, and don't you dare to say no. I've got you in my spell. There's no breaking free from this pillow-padded cell. You're caught. I bet the traps around you are set. The winds of change have blown. No more acts of love or mercy to be shown. Your time is up, I'm part of your addiction. Your claims would be immune to contradiction. And yet you yield to my conviction tonight. Show repentance, serve your sentence. The hunter is on, and you're what I feed upon. The hunting weather's great, and you're my living base. So sit onto my lap, baby, welcome in the trap. Show repentance, serve your sentence, don't be a bore. We've been through all this before. For I'm a voice of doom, and you're an endangered species. So sit into my lap, baby, welcome in the trap. And so closes the trap. Thank you. Suur tänu. There was a large number of good Estonian composers in the early 20th century who adopted to the new style of music, to the jazz music. And of course, this came to us from America with American films and American records. And later on, when sheet music became available, you could order stock arrangements from the States, and everybody did. So it was time of many, many good, large dance bands, which basically played American repertoire. I promised to tell you many interesting facts about Estonia and Tallinn, and one interesting theory of things coming from other parts of the world to us has been presented by Italian scholar and scientist. Well, some would say pseudo-scientist. He's not universally agreed upon. But his name is Filippo da Vinci, and he has been puzzled with the enigma of Greek national epics. He has been trying to lay the epic upon a geography of a map to realize where these things that Homer wrote about actually took place. And it has been tried before, and nobody is ever successful. But here he is, according to himself, and he claims that all the action of Homer's work takes place in Estonia and Finland. He wrote a thick book about it. And he actually presents his facts very well. There are drawings, there are maps, and he has located, for example, an interesting place in Finland, a small ancient settlement called Troia, which is, of course, Troy, which was attacked by Estonians who came from the south. And he's quite serious about it. So you should read this book. It's a fascinating read, especially for us Estonians who knew nothing about this. So we'll go on with music. Raimond Valgre was one of the young men who took up jazz music in the 20s and 30s. And he never actually knew what it meant to be popular. His career was cut short as the Soviet invasion began, when Second World War began in Europe. After this, he was transported to Russia, and even though he returned to Estonia alive, he was a broken-down man. After the war, of course, new politics demanded that jazz music should be banned altogether. When the Cold War started, all of a sudden you found yourself being nothing short of an American spy if you were a saxophone player. Old saxophone players actually told me they went to work one day, and it was the Estonian Radio Jazz Orchestra. The word jazz was shiveled off the shield, and there was a huge banner in the auditorium saying, "Today you play saxophone, tomorrow you will be a traitor to your country." Saxophone and machine gun were equaled. So they had to learn new instruments, such as the horn or bassoon, and they did. It lasted for about 8 years, and then the ban was, of course, lifted as Stalin died. But this was quite easy for them, because in the Soviet Union, these sax players were mostly just shot. So when, back in 1954, the new regime said, yes, we need kind of modern dance music with saxophones, it appeared that saxophone players were nowhere to be found. So they wrote to Estonia, and Estonian Radio's jazz orchestra was reformed and did about 24 of recordings of new songs to be sent to Russia, where they slowly began educating saxophone players again. Well, no wonder that musicians really sometimes broke, and it was your choice to be as you are and to perish, or to start singing about Stalin and writing songs about the mighty Soviet people and the friendship and peace and everything that was basically one big lie. Raimond Valgre never did, but tried to keep on composing swing music. Only after his death have we discovered these songs which have come to symbolize everything that was beautiful and pure in the pre-war Estonia. So we're playing a couple of his songs. The first one is called The Right Choice, but actually he composed it in English. He knew many languages. His English wasn't the best, but the words are quite possible and good. It's called Snowflakes. The year was 1939. Snowflakes, nothing more but snowflakes softly falling, and my lonely heart will be calling for you every time I see the snowflakes falling. Winter, cold and frosty winter, still there's romance, but for me there's no chance, for I'm not with you. So I watch the snowflakes in their snow dance. Cold is the season, there's snow everywhere, but my heart isn't freezing, 'cause there is spring in the air. Snowflakes, nothing more but snowflakes softly falling, and my lonely heart will be calling for you every time I see the snowflakes falling. Cold is the season, there's snow everywhere, but my heart isn't freezing, 'cause there is spring in the air. Snowflakes, nothing more but snowflakes softly falling, and my lonely heart will be calling for you every time I see the snowflakes falling. Every time I see the snowflakes falling. Every time I see the snowflakes falling. Thank you. Also, back in 1939, he composed something that was to become one of the symbols of his work. Symbols of romance, a bit naive but at the same time very sincere and touching. We imagine our Estonia of 1930s being like that. Of course, we unfortunately don't have any personal connection with that era. But this song, with this song, he was helped by the daughter of the Swedish ambassador, Alice Ferrier, who wrote the English lyrics. They obviously were much in love, but the next year, as the war broke up and political situation changed, she left for Sweden, he was taken to Russia, and of course they never ever met again, and we are not sure if Alice really ever knew that her lyrics have become almost as sacred to us as are some of our ancient national melodies. This one is called The Fairy Tale in Music. Each tender word I heard from you that evening is lingering like music in my soul. Now when music sounds, I get the feeling someday you'll be mine alone. I hear a little fairy tale in music. I see a little picture in a tune, with just a little song the whole night long. 'Cause I'm in love with you, and I love all the music. Yes, music makes me sometimes sentimental, and music makes my heart beat very gentle. With just a little song the whole night long. 'Cause I'm in love with you and all the music. No, it can't be true what the people say about you. 'Cause everyone keeps saying to me, you're just a little fool, your dreams can never be. But music holds for me its charms, tells me that you'll soon be in my arms. With just a little song the whole night long. 'Cause I'm in love with you and all the music. Yes, I'm in love with you, and I love all the music. Music holds for me its charms, and tells me that you'll soon be in my arms. With just a little song the whole night long. 'Cause I'm in love with you and all the music. Thank you. We Estonians have one problem. Well, obviously we have many problems, but there is one problem which hasn't left us during many centuries of existence, since it was first introduced to us. And I think it was done by the orders of the Pope Urban, who in the late 12th century ignited a crusade onto the northern regions, which reached our shores in the very early years of the 13th century. And, well, coming from here and there and through Russia, the Crusaders also brought along vodka and strong booze, of which we probably knew nothing before. Since then, drinking has been a huge problem, but also a blessing, because we love it. Estonian parties are usually very, very cold and boring before people open a bottle or two or three and finish them each. And then, of course, the party's over. But it's great fun, yes, honestly. Well, about Raimond Valgre, he also wrestled with this fiend, the devil of the vodka, and regrettably lost. We have one song he composed which is called I'll Do Some Drinking, which is a very painfully honest confession about his search for reasons to drink and drink some more. And of course, when you find that your loved one has deceived you, what else can you do? You'll just do some drinking, as he did. Elus pole alati kõik nali. elu toob meil rõõme kurvastust. Kuid sageli, kui saatus liialt valib, ma kuskilt pean ju leidma lohutust. Ma võtan viina, sest olen täna kurb. Ma võtan viina, sest pettis mind mu arm. On keegi teine, keda armastab, ta on keegi teine. Ja ma nõnda üksinda ma tõstan klaasi suud terviseks mu neid, et õnne saaksid sa leidma eluteed, mis sest et jäävalt sinust lahkuma nüüd peab. Ma tõstan klaasi soovides sul head. Tõstan klaasi suud terviseks mu neid, et õnne saaksid sa leidma eluteed, mis sest et jäävalt sinust lahkuma nüüd peab. Ma tõstan klaasi soovides sul head türürü. Ma tõstan klaasi soovides sul head. Thank you, suur tänu. Well, one more song by Raimond Valgre. This one is called Melody. I still remember the melody, all this romantic stuff people used to believe in and write about in the early 30s when the world was a much purer place. Mul meenes veel meloodia. Mul meloodia, mida mulle laulsid sa, nüüd ma seda laulma pean teile. Taevas kuusis naeratas lõhnas, valge toomingas õnne kinkis kevad vaid meile. Tuudu, laulsid sa mul, armastan alati sind. Tuudu, soosistas tuud, aitas su juukse, kui suudasid mind ning meeles. Mul meloodia, mida mulle laulsid sa õnne, kinkis kevad vaid meile. Laulsid sa mul, armastan alati sind. Tuudu, soosistas tuud, aitas su juukse, kui suudasid mind ning meeles. Mul meloodia, mida mulle laulsid sa õnne, kinkis kevad vaid meile, kinkis kevad vaid meile, kinkis kevad vaid meile. Thank you, thank you. Well, 100 years ago, a lot of things changed. the First World War brought on a cultural shift in all fields of life. And of course, what perhaps I should say changed the most was the women. The type of a lady fashionable in the pre-World War days was absolutely in contradiction with the new type of woman, a flapper with boyish looks, and of course short hair became the rage of the day. And even Estonian ladies, perhaps slowly at first, but then more surely, took to the new fashion of bobbed hair. And this, of course, was also introduced in a popular song about a young lady called Paula. Are there any Paulas in the audience? We never have one. I've been asking this for ages. Never. But this Paula decided to cut her beautiful golden hair, and once the gentleman who's doing the singing sees her with her new fashionable flapper looks, he of course falls head over heels in love with her. This is a very popular standard in Estonia. Paula, sul on poisipea. Kui Paula oli lapseeas, tal olid blondid juuksed peas, nii ilusad ja käharad, kui päiksekuld nii säravad, siis koolis käies kandis ta neid ikka pika patsina, kuid kevadel, kui algas mai ja Paula juba preidiks sai, siis ühel päeval tänaval ma nägin poisipea on tal. Paula, sul on poisipea, kui see meeldib mul, sa vist ei tea. Sa oled nagu kullergupp, mille varre otsas ilus nupp. Paula, sul on poisipea ja see on selleks väga hea. Kui algab meie tantsutuur, ei takista frisuur. Sul on poisipea, kui see meeldib mul, sa vist ei tea. Sa oled nagu kullergupp, millel varre otsas ilus nupp. Paula, sul on poisipea ja see on selleks väga hea. Kui algab meie tantsutuur, ei takista frisuur. Thank you. But of course, back in the day, slow romantic dances were very, very popular among those who were in love and wanted to spend an intimate moment on the dance floor. This reminds me, we have a wonderful dance floor in front of a stage. If you feel like joining us for the next very, very beautiful rumba, please do so. This takes us to the 1950s, when a young composer, Arne Oit, began his career, which lasted up to the 80s, leaving us many, many songs that young and old both know by heart. This is one of his first ones, and called, in my translation, which I did Yesterday in a cold shower, I have to search you with my heart alone. Ladies, choose your partners. I'll have to search you with my heart alone, as I would search for rapture through eternity. I'll have to find you with my heart alone, as I would find a beacon on a stormy sea. I have to kiss you with my heart alone. When lips are sealed in silence, words would be in vain. I have to hold you with my heart alone. My hands are much too rough to hold such beauty. I'll have to search you with my heart alone, as I would search for rapture through eternity. I'll have to find you with my heart alone, as I would find a beacon on a stormy sea. I'll have to kiss you with my heart alone. When lips are sealed in silence, words would be in vain. I'll have to hold you with my heart alone. My hands are much too rough to hold such beauty in my heart. I have to search you with my heart alone, as I would search for rapture through eternity. I'll have to find you with my heart alone, as I would find a beacon on a stormy sea. I'll have to kiss you with my heart alone. When lips are sealed in silence, words would be in vain. I'll have to hold you with my heart alone. My hands are much too rough to hold such beauty in my arms. Thank you. Suur tänu. I already mentioned the era in the 1940s, late 1940s, where one war, the Second World War, was over, but another war, the Cold War, was just about to begin. For a couple of years, things seemed all right in Estonia, especially music-wise, because American music was popular, American films were in the cinemas. But this all changed back in 1947, when the Iron Curtain fell and we found ourselves on the other side of it. In 1945, a young composer called Leo Normet wrote this witty tune for his new operetta, In Search of Hermes, Hermes being one of the Greek gods. And when writing the lyrics, he drew inspiration from American pop songs, indulging in some English phrases and words and places like Florida. But of course, once the operetta was produced, the atmosphere had changed, and he was told to remove all words that betray American influence. So unfortunately, Estonian audience grew up, yes, loving this song, but not knowing how witty the words originally were. When he was an old man and I met him, he gave me an old piece of paper saying these were the original lyrics, of which I had never heard of. So we are the only band now playing this popular tune with the original 1945 lyrics. It's called We'll Spend Our Weekends in Viljandi, Viljandi being a small Estonian seaside resort town. 1, 2, 1, 2. kaugele ei maksa sõita, kallist aega vajab võtta. Eestiski on meil Florida, Krimmi rand eksootlik ida, kõike, mida ikab süda. Hosta, pilet istu rongi, õige pea ta kohal ongi. Kõik teed viivad ainult sinna, kuhu kõigil vaja minna, rõõmsa roosa tujulinna. Weekendid vedame kõik Viljandis, sest saame olla sündme õnnes kahekesi. Hamburgi alati seal suvitab ja teda huvitab, kuidas käib me käsi. Loobuda, kes tahaks tüütavast linnakärast loobuda, kuid kuldsest päikses ära sellepärast weekendid vedame kõik Viljandis, sest seal just ongi paradiis. Weekendid vedame kõik Viljandis, sest saame olla siis me õnnes kahekesi. Hamburgi alati seal suvitab ja teda huvitab, kuidas käib me käsi. Loobuda, kes tahaks tüütavast linnakärast joobuda, või pulsest päikses ära sellepärast weekendid vedame kõik Viljandis, sest seal just ongi sest seal just ongi paradiis. Thank you. We have a couple of more songs. Yes, just about enough time for these. And these songs bring us to a current era as they are composed by me this very year, and I could link an interesting story to them, linking us with the Kennedy Center. Well, it's not really appropriate to blow your own horn and talk about yourself, but let me just tell you a bit what I did to commemorate our centennial anniversary. A couple of years ago, I wrote a book. Actually, it was a series of books, historical novels, which have a very strange and dangerous title. Are there any children among us? Well, could you kindly close your ears, please? Yeah, thank you. The books are called The Whores. It draws inspiration from, yes, thank you. You may you may free yourself again from the shackles of morality. A quote, infamous quote by Joseph Stalin said, "Small countries are the whores of capitalism." Yes, indeed, the action takes place in a small elite brothel during the war in Tallinn, Estonia, but it's not about the ladies selling their emotions and bodies. No, the whores are actually both the politicians who peddle the nations and, of course, the small nations themselves who are being divided and peddled by and to from one dictator to another. These, of course, being Stalin on one side and Hitler on the other side. So it went on to be that these small nations, such as Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, also Finland, Hungary, Poland, Bulgaria, Romania, were treated as whores for almost half a century, being humiliated, raped, and the worst thing, you had to pretend that you are endlessly happy with this and that you love the one who humiliates and destroys you. Well, fortunately, these years have passed, and we do hope that they will never return, even though living next door to countries such as Russia means constant danger and need for strong allies. Of course, us having found it in the ranks of NATO, of which we hope to be very good and loyal partners. I composed these songs to a TV series which was made of these books and which is currently on in Estonian TV even as we speak on Monday evenings. And one of our characters, interestingly enough, is young JFK, the future President Kennedy. There have been actually 6 US presidents who have visited Estonia, if we also include those who either were not yet presidents, such as JFK, or who were no longer presidents. During his world tour in summer of 1939, just before the war broke off, young JFK spent a couple of days in Tallinn, and well, you might guess what might have happened in my book, with him being in Tallinn surrounded by a bunch of beautiful young ladies. It's an interesting story. I hope it will be one day on Netflix so you can have a look. Yes, indeed, there have been talks about this, so you can perhaps see what JFK did in Estonia. But the fact is that he had very good memories of his short stay in Tallinn, and when in the later years, the Foreign Estonian Society, Estonians in the United States, were campaigning for his election. He was very grateful, and he wrote us a historical letter saying that as a person who has visited Tallinn and Estonia in the pre-war years, he has the fondest memories of Estonia and Estonians and would relentlessly keep on fighting against the Soviet tyranny in Estonia. So we have a special bond with JFK, and these are a couple of songs now to conclude this program, which can be heard in the TV series. If you ever see it, you'll perhaps recognize these tunes. The first one is a very sad and slow waltz. It's called Love, and it's basically like the anthem of our young ladies in the series. Kas armastus rahu võib leida või sõjaks me südames saab, ent lepivais ohkes ta peidab või tuikab, kui veritsev haab ning tuiks südames lekima loidab vaid selle, kes armastab. Kas armastus aru võib anda või küsimust meile ta seab? Kas kõhkluste koormat võib kanda või vaiki, kui vastuseid teab? Ta altari ees süda nii ohverdab enda, ka siis, kui ta hukkuma peab. armastus hukka võib viia, vaid lunastab hoopiski neid, kes teavad, et armastus siiras on looduse ülevaim leid ning otsimast seda ei loobu leia, mis päästab ning hävitab meid. Thank you. We still have 2 more minutes to go, and we have a very short 2-minute song to conclude this program. Another song I composed for the series. It's called, as I composed it, I named it Happy New Year, but now we sing it Happy Birthday. It's, of course, to our Republic for the next century. And to all of you, each day is a gift, and it's appropriate to congratulate each other. Thank you all for coming here. Hope to see you back at the merchandise desk afterwards. And have a nice evening. Thank you very much. Head uut aastat me soovime teile, head uut aastat, et truuks jääge neile, kes armastavad teid ja on head. Head uut aastat, las maha jääb eilne, homne kaasa toob parimat meile ja igaüht meist meelestab peab. Kui maailm särav vaim ootab ees, jälle ja kui su vaim vabalt lendab iseenda. Head uut aastat, kätt parima algus, toogem kaasa sul südame valgus, nii maailm valgemaks saab. Päevas kingitust näed, siis maailma uueks loodime väega oma käega. Head uut aastat, et parima algus, toogem kaasa sul südame valgus, võitmatu on hing, kes kui saab armastab, nii maailm valgemaks saab. We made it, thank you. The Swing Swindlers.